My name is Abbi Custis, and I am the owner and I guess you would call it president of my business, Abbi Custis Art. And how I got here, sometimes I have to ask myself, well, how did you get here? And it started out when I was in middle school and high school. School was not what I loved. I had a hard time focusing. I couldn't really relate to it. But my dreams I had visions and I had ideas and they lived in my head. So oftentimes I would find myself doodling or creating something while I was supposed to be taking notes. I was obtaining the information, just not maybe how my teachers wanted me to do it. And I oftentimes got in trouble for that because it appeared that I was not focused, but where in fact I really was just focusing on bigger ideas. And so from there, I struggled. I was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD, and I had eating struggles. I had all the things that just kind of weighed me down. I didn't know where I fit. I didn't feel like I fit anywhere. And then I had teachers that noticed that I lit up when I was painting. So this one in particular gave me assignment, and it was, at the time I thought it was ridiculous because I was through all those years of, self-sabotage. You're mean to yourself. You say I don't fit in, I don't like my outfit, my hair's not like everybody else's. I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. So then I became very much a perfectionist, and I just was tight and rigid in my ways just because that's probably the one thing I could control. So I did that, but I became miserable and the weight of the world just kept weighing me down until this one art teacher said to me, he said, "Tomorrow, Abbi, would you wear something old that you don't like?" I'm like, I like all my clothes. And then he said, "We're gonna do something. You'll learn about it tomorrow. Just show up." And I hated this because I was a control freak and a perfectionist. So the assignment was, he handed me a bunch of sticks and a blank canvas and some paint. And he said, "I want you to go outside and spend some time with these paints. And I don't want you to come back in until you found a little piece of your soul." I was like, dude, you're crazy. But I begrudgingly did it. And in that moment in time, and I still go back there today, when I'm in my studio, in my flow, I go back to this moment where I got those sticks. And at first I was like, and then I just was saturated with the paint. I forgot, I left the sticks. I just had it in my hands. I was throwing it and I was spreading it on the canvas. And I, for that moment in time, forgot about everything. I left the perfectionist, I left the self-sabotage, and I was just one with that canvas. And I understood at that moment what he was talking about. So that moment in time was over 20 years ago, but it has been the flame that has kept me going throughout my young adulthood and starting a family and building this business. So the moment I had with my high school teacher and that flame that I felt, that excitement, that joy I felt from throwing the paint on the canvas, I knew that was something that would always be inside of me and always fuel me. However, I didn't at the time quite know how to make a career of it, so I put it in my back pocket. I also had stereotypes around being an artist, and you hear things in the media like starving artists, can't survive being an artist, you gotta do 1 million jobs to become an artist if you're gonna be successful. So I just was like, let's just put that to the side and let's go to college, have a somewhat generic degree. I majored in American Studies, and people ask me, well, what is that? I'm like, exactly. It's the way I like to describe it is it's understanding society and how we work the way we work. And it taught me so much about life, and I'm so grateful that I took that as a major because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And I found that everyone in my same major had the same ideas. And it's ironically, they're all in very creative fields. So it makes sense. I did tour the art department and I had a little like, ooh, like I had that sparkle, that flame again, but it kept a whisper like, not now, not now. And I don't really like to be told what to do. And I love my art teachers, all of them, but I didn't want to go to school for something that I loved because I felt that would dim that flame for someone to tell me how I was supposed to do the one thing that truly brought me inner peace, and it was my joy and my passion. So I was like, I'll keep that for me. So I went to college, I got the American Studies degree, and then I moved to DC, and I was a corporate event planner, and started as the assistant, and then eventually was working at the George Washington University, doing all of their hospitality and events for their board of trustees. That job taught me more about life than that, and my babysitting job, I have to say, taught me more about life than anything. It just logistics, planning, the stuff I don't really like to do, but it kind of forced me to understand it. And I do believe that's part of the reason why my business is successful, because I know how to plan an event and work with people and do all those behind the scenes things. So from there, I lost my father at a young age and found myself back in that vulnerable position that the art teacher had put me in with the paints. I was just releasing my emotions and mad at the world again and just I needed to place it. So I placed it on the canvas, and he left a lot of tools when he passed away. He had all these tools, so they became my paintbrushes. And if you know me, you'll see, like, when you see me paint, I'm covered. I don't really use brushes. I don't prefer them. They're restricting to me. So that really reignited the flame. So I took this tragic moment in my life and turned it around to fuel something. I knew there was more to life than just what I was doing, and I wanted more of that flame. I was like, it's time to pull that out of your back pocket and man up, step it up, lady up, whatever. So from then, I have an extremely supportive husband and 3 little boys who encouraged all of this, and it really did start, again, starting a family and decorating a home and thinking, I'm not paying all that money for a painting when I could do it myself. So it slowly started like that. And then I had people asking me, oh, can you paint me something? And at the time I thought, okay, I don't know why you want me to paint you something, but all right. I didn't believe in myself fully at that point. And then I had a dear friend, interior designer, who told me to post my stuff on Facebook. I thought, no way. That is so vulnerable. I'm not putting it on Facebook. And she said, and put everything as it's already sold. I was like, that's crazy. She says, no, it's good. It will get people excited. So I did that, and then that was it. And then it just started. One thing led to another, and to another, and to another, and then here we are in my studio. So I learned 5 years ago how to really expand my business outside of just the canvas. So a good friend of mine said you should scan your artwork and then turn it into a digital image, which then can be printed on just about anything you can imagine. So that is where it truly expanded the possibilities I had as an artist outside of what I ever thought was possible. That's how I have the jewelry line, and that's how I've worked with companies to have personalized brands for products. So I have a fabric line, I have a houseware line, I have anything is possible when you just think outside the box of just painting on a canvas. There's so many things you can do with it. You just got to keep expanding, and again, there's always a way, and sometimes a different way is way better than the way everybody else is doing it. So there's a couple, and interior design is one. Architect is another, and these are things you might not think about as an artist, but you have to have that visual brain to be able to see a building in your head before it goes on paper, and then to let your team kind of put it together. So graphic design as well, I mean, that's a huge one, and that's one thing I do wish I knew how to do, was graphic design. I would urge anyone who is a fine art, has interest in that, to learn to do it on the computer, since there's so many things in that direction, and just you'll have an idea in your head and want to be able to explain it, and it's hard. So to be able to do it yourself on the computer, I think is a huge skill set to have. So I see the industry going in more collaborative work, partnering with different industries to build my business and to help them build their business. I think it's been a great thing for me the past few years. I've been working with other companies that you necessarily wouldn't think of when you think of an artist. So it helps expand my brand and expand my mission and expand the person I'm working with as well. And so I've been working with a yoga therapist, a jewelry designer, and an interior designer in 3 completely different kind of branches of different things that has helped expand my knowledge and growth as well. I think in being an artist and making a business out of it, you have to really just not care what people think about your art. And I know that's a challenging concept, because it's when you're painting and putting it out for people to view and criticize, it makes, still, just saying it made my stomach churn a bit. So it's very vulnerable to do that. It's very raw. You're putting a piece of yourself out in the world, but you just have to be trusted and just put a little shield up and just know what you're supposed to hear and know what is not for you. And then they'll come around. But you really just have to trust yourself and your work, and do not have fear around that. And also, just again, be confident, be fun. People want to see it. They want to see you they want to see you having fun with what you're doing. And I guess when you're younger, you have the stereotype of what a leader and a boss is, and a boss is strict and stern, and it's important to be your full self in what you're doing, and not take it so seriously all the time. But it's a balance. With a leader, it is important to know that it's okay and it's actually good to fail sometimes. I mean, it's so important. I have had some opportunities that have gone so poorly, and it crushed me at the time, but after sitting with it, and it's learning to sit with that and not pushing it away and not judging yourself, but sitting with it, because every time something fails, there's a lesson behind it. It's just a matter of staying with it, tapping in, what was there for me to learn? Oh, there's always something there to learn. And then once you think of those things and you can hold on to them and really listen to them, then you just grow even more, and it's even more exciting. And I know it sounds crazy. You're like, wait, if I fail, I'm gonna grow. And absolutely, every time. So keep failing, because you're gonna keep growing when you do that. And that is how, now that I'm saying this to you, it's how I realized that's how I built this business. Through all those times where I felt like I failed, but I just kept going, because each time there was a lesson, a bigger one and a bigger one and a bigger one. And so yeah, fail it up. I would say to keep painting, keep exploring. Don't get stuck in one media. Try a million things. And learn as much as you can, but also learn to teach yourself new ways. So you're forever expanding, and you're finding a different way than how everybody else is doing it, because that will be the way that everybody wants to do if it's different. and to, again, not be afraid to take some chances and put yourself out there, even though you might fail a few times. Just keep putting yourself out there. And then to also, if you end up going to art school, which again, even though I didn't, I fully would support that, get some skills in other areas too, like marketing and business, and just to make yourself fully well-rounded so you can feel confident in those situations, and you know the answers, because you have, again, you'll take what you need from it. You'll take away from those classes or those experiences what you need to take. It might just be one of the lecture series that really stuck with you, but it's something you practice every day in life. So just keeping yourself, stay expanded, take some risks, and keep thinking outside the box.